If you're working towards creating a healthier relationship with food and body along your journey, you're going to want to feed yourself when you're actually hungry, right? That's a huge part of it. When you think of dieting, a lot of people think, oh, you're trying to like push your hunger off, you're not eating when you're hungry. But I promise you, if you can learn how to recognize true physical hunger sensations and feed your body when you are hungry, you are going to make your healthy eating and your weight loss goals a lot easier on yourself. Physical hunger versus emotional hunger. What are you really hungry for? And do you know the difference between a physical, biological sensation of hunger in your body versus an emotional feeling of hunger? You know, that feeling when you just kind of want to eat something, but you're not actually hungry. What we have to remember is that hunger can be caused by both our bodies and by our minds. And when we confuse feeling hungry, right, an emotional feeling of hunger with actual biological, physical sensations of hunger in the body, it can become very easy to overeat. So that's what I want to chat with you about today. I want to help you learn how to decipher between physical, biological sensations of hunger in the body and just feelings of hunger, the type of hunger that's driven by emotional desires rather than a physical need for fuel. Now, my favorite way to think about this is like this. A feeling of hunger, an emotionally driven feeling of hunger, starts in the mind and it travels down to the body, right? So it starts with a little thought, and that thought creates a feeling or an emotion in the body that makes you kind of want something to eat. I'm going to explain more about this in a moment. A biological, physical sensation of hunger starts in the body and travels up to the brain, right? So think about it like if you were to touch a hot stove, right? You would touch the hot stove, you would have a sensation of heat. That message would travel from your body to your brain, and it would say, hey, the brain would say, let's take our hand off the stove, right? It's the same with true physical sensations of hunger. The body creates a sensation within the body that travels to the brain to say, hey, we need some fuel. So you can see the difference there. One is beginning in the body and one is beginning in the mind. One is driven by a real need for fuel and for energy for the body, and the other is driven by an emotional desire. So when you're having just like that feeling of hunger, that little nudge, that emotional desire to eat something, that is starting with a little innocent thought in your brain that creates that feeling, that desire in your body. And that can look a lot of different ways, but some common ones would be to think to yourself things like, it's lunchtime, it's time to eat. Or, ooh, that looks good. Or, maybe I'll just have a little, right? These thoughts can create a false sense of hunger in the body. Have you ever had an experience where maybe you just finished eating lunch, you were completely content, you have enough food in your body, and then you get back to the office and somebody brought in donuts or a cake or something fresh baked, and you look at it and you're just like, ooh, that looks so good. Or, maybe I'll just have a little bit. And then suddenly you feel like eating something. That would be a fantastic example of a feeling of hunger that is being emotionally driven, right? Remember, thoughts create how we're feeling. So if you have these little thoughts that then create that desire is going to feel like hunger. But a feeling of hunger is not the same as really needing food or needing some type of fuel for the body. So again, a feeling of hunger, that emotional hunger, is going to start in the mind and travel down to the body, right? So your baseline is that you're not really hungry, you're not really looking for food, and then you have this innocent little thought, and boom, now all of a sudden you feel like eating. We have to remember that the mind is a very powerful tool. So the more awareness you can create about this, the more helpful it's going to become on your journey with eating better and or with losing weight. Now, on the flip side, that biological hunger, that physical sensation of hunger, that's going to start in your body, it's going to travel up to your brain. This is your body's way of communicating with you that it needs some food, right? That it needs a little bit of energy, it needs a little bit of fuel. And we want to get really good at recognizing recognizing the signs, the signals, the cues that our body sends us when it really needs some food, when it needs more energy. Because if you're working towards creating a healthier relationship with food and body along your journey, you're going to want to feed yourself when you're actually hungry, right? That's a huge part of it. When you think of dieting, a lot of people think, oh, you're trying to like push your hunger off, you're not eating when you're hungry. But I promise you, if you can learn how to recognize true physical hunger sensations and feed your body when you are hungry, you're going to make healthy eating and your goals with weight loss a lot easier. Now, if you're out of touch with your body, if you're not used to feeling your body and recognizing these signals, this may be a little bit frustrating at first, right? But I always want to remind you, you want to give yourself some grace and some space to practice. It's just like a skill set, right? It's just like if you have to use the restroom and you can connect to that feeling in your body, you're just going to practice noticing again what type of signals your body sends you when it is feeling hungry. And physical sensations of hunger, they can look different for everybody, but some common examples would be feeling a little burning sensation in your stomach or a little bit of a gnawing sensation in your stomach. For some people, I've heard people say their mouth feels dry or their throat feels dry. That may be something to pay attention for yourself. I know for myself, one of the first things I notice when I'm really getting hungry is that my attention starts to wane. If I'm working on a project or I'm focusing on something, I just have a harder time staying focused or keeping my attention on it. So that may be something to investigate for yourself. Your mood might be a good indicator if you're starting to get hungry, right? A lot of people, when they start to get hungry, they feel a little more irritable or a little more impatient or perhaps a little crankier, right? So you might want to pay attention to your mood and how your energy is shifting throughout the day. That can be a great indicator if your body is trying to signal to you that it's time for a little bit of food or a little bit of fuel. And again, this is going to be a practice specifically for somebody who maybe has dieted a lot in their past and you're trying to eat according to a specific plan, or if you're somebody who tries to eat solely according to the clock and you're kind of trying to make all of these decisions with your brain, but you're not checking in with your body. And again, these cues are going to be different for everybody. There's no right or wrong way. You just want to continuously practice. If you really find it difficult to connect to your body, you can always try the practice of closing your eyes, putting your hand on your stomach or on your heart, and just trying to quiet your mind so that you can feel what's taking place inside of your body. This just helps to like shut off some of the sensory experiences that might distract us from connecting to our bodies. Now, if you do this and you feel like, I just cannot connect to any physical sensations, I just can't tell if I'm hungry or not, you could try one of two tools. You can simply give yourself more time. Say, I'm going to wait another 30 minutes and I'm going to check in with my body again. Or you can offer yourself some very simple, not exciting, but still delicious food, you know, like something like an apple, some grilled chicken, right? Something that's really more fuel intended, because when we are hungry, simple foods are very appealing. But when we're being driven to eat by emotional reasons, by just kind of that feeling, that urge to eat, those types of foods are not as appealing. So you could use that simple tool as you learn to practice getting in touch with your hunger. And the last thing I'll say to this is you also want to remember, if you detect physical, biological sensations of hunger in the body, that means it's time to eat. When we are hungry, we feed ourselves, right? Long-term sustainable weight loss is not about trying to manipulate your body or trying to will yourself against the needs of your body. It's about learning how to be in relationship with your body and learning how to work with your body so that you feel fueled and you feel nourished and that your body trusts that when it's hungry, food is coming in. On the flip side, if you find that you are having that urge or that desire to eat and there is no physical hunger, that you're recognizing, oh, this is more of an emotional driven desire, that's when we want to step back and we want to practice the art of being with our emotions, learning what our emotions are trying to communicate with us, processing those emotions, etc. And that could be a whole other videos, and I have shared other videos on that in the past. So I'm going to link to those videos down in the description box below if you want to check them out. Now, remember, if you are somebody who wants to take a deeper dive into a kind, sane, sustainable approach to permanent weight loss, I have a free 3-part mind-body weight loss series that you can access by going down to the description box below and just clicking that link, okay? That will bring you to a 3-part video series that will be delivered straight to your inbox. If you have any thoughts, questions, insights to share on this topic, I would love to hear them. Simply come on down to the comment section below and let's chat. As always, thank you for watching. I'm Dani Spies, and I'll see you back here next time in the next video. Cheers!